Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode, we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. What is up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey, this time with Extreme Force as well as OT6. For Extreme Force, there is a lot of, cool new stuff, like Mekk-Knights that, spoiler alert, that's what I'm gonna be playing. I've been looking forward to this for so long. Mythical Beast gets so much, cool new stuff, and then we even have, older stuff, artifacts getting stuff like Overtax Quoteless is actually pretty good dino. We have actually a really good lineup of generically just pretty good links like Triple Burst Dragon and Saruja Skulldread, one of the most iconic Link 4s, I feel like. I really like Saruja, because the thing about Saruja is it doesn't stop your opponent from playing the game, it just lets you do more stuff. Tikaboo also here as well, one of those extremely good and consistent side deck cards that sometimes completely shafts some decks, and then Vendread and FA continues getting more stuff, more legacy stuff. And then the new links, Archfiends get a link, a Master Archfiend Lightsworn gets a link. We have Isolde, obviously relatively recently banned, but obviously made just every single warrior deck so much more consistent. And Heavy Metal Froze Electromite. I'm expecting Jeexx to play a I don't think he would play Noble Knights, because there is no other Noble Knight stuff here except for Isolde, so I feel like getting a 20-20 split would be relatively hard. But Electromite, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play Pendulum here. Maybe use some of the Pendulum cards here and then play Heavy Metal Metal Foes, but Electromite obviously incredibly good for Pendulum. I feel like this could probably come off the list at this point in time, but at the same time, as the #1 Pendulum hater, keep that ass banned, I don't mind. And then we have the OTS6, we have Diggle Talker, Brilliant Fusion here, we have Invocation, some Paleozoic stuff here as well. Set Rotation actually might be relevant as well, Gosuki for some stuff, Dragon Shrine if you're playing Dragon, Seraphinite, you have the Brilliant Engine here if you wanted. We also have Phantom Sky Blaster that actually, spoiler alert, we're playing, because it's just a good normal summon to have. And also, very notably, I don't think I usually talk about the special edition stuff. We still have special editions going forward for, I think, couple more years of in-game years, but this time in the special edition, Called by the Grave comes out, and I'll definitely talk about this at the when we play the games, but I'll already say here, Called by the Grave in a little bit of a different form is entering our generic pool. We're probably done adding main deck cards for the generic pool after that. I can't think of anything that we would add after, which is probably good, because that'll put our generics at, well, I don't want to say because that'll give it away. Just watch the games, and then I'll also, obviously, because the rule change only applies starting next time, I'll talk about it at the start of the episode 1, 2, 4. But Call by the Grave is going to be after this, entering our generic pool. But for today, I'm very excited to talk about this. We're playing Mekk-Knights, and this set actually kind of beautifully comes around to making Mekk-Knights actually really playable. The issue with Mekk-Knights is always just getting going. Once you get going, you can do so much with the deck, and Mekk-Knights are part of my favorite story arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Story, the actual card games, not the animes. The World Legacy Saga I really recommend checking that out. I know that Crush Cards has a video about it. Like, I'm sure like more people have covered it. I really recommend checking it out. I love the whole saga there, and aesthetically they're so cool. Like, there's something about like very space looking light monsters, it feels like, with my favorite archetypes. But I love the Mekk-Knight's aesthetic, and I like the column stuff. Obviously very janky, but something that it's a relatively, also I feel like, simple archetype, so something we can work with here. But let's start by covering, actually, let me start. This is probably going to be longer than usual, maybe like might even be close to 20 minutes. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but this might be a slightly longer deck breakdown just because I want to glaze Mekk-Knights. But I also want to talk about like why I think in this set in particular, like Mekk-Knights is actually like pretty good. I'll talk about actually the Mekk-Knights last, and we'll cover the stuff around it first, even starting from our extra deck. We have like what I usually like call just the Galaxy Eyes like pop package, where 2 level 8s makes Cypher Dragon, and that then you can rank up into Full Armor Photon Dragon and target a face-up card your opponent controls and pop it, and then you can level this up into Cypher Blade Dragon, which then lets you pop any card on the field with a pop. And then when this gets into your grave because of your opponent, then you get a Cypher Dragon to have a beat stick, or do the loop-de-loop again, where you once again like you lose this and then you can do this. And I was thinking of like running only 1 Cypher Blade and then 2 and 2 of these, but I figured like our actually isn't that tight, because like Mekk-Knights don't have their Link 2 unfortunately yet. So our extra deck wasn't that tight, so I figured like I'll just 1 2 2 2 and we'll see how that goes. Framelord Omega is here because we have access to Gamma in the set, and this is also why it's kind of nice in this set in particular. I don't still know if we actually want to go second, but this deck can actually like go second, because obviously you care about the columns, as we'll cover in a little bit. So like that means that for our first turn we have access to obviously Gamma to negate anything, because obviously Jeexx is going first, where our board is going to be empty. So Gamma is another like reason that I feel like makes this kind of nice. And then also like Red Moon gives us Red Resonator, which obviously is a like relatively good normal summon, and the Phantom Sky Blaster is another like decent normal summon. I was thinking of running Weewitch's Apprentice just for Sky Blaster, because obviously like with that, then like we can then use Sky Blaster and 1 token to make Weewitch's Apprentice, and then we have a Link 2, and then like that with 2 other cards, like we can then just make a Saruja that gives us our extra summons. So that was an idea that I had, but ultimately like I ended up throwing other stuff in the side over it, and instead just having Sky Blaster here as a normal summon. Why is... Did I... A Sixth Sense here, or did I get that through something? Because that doesn't look familiar. I'll keep it a buck. I think... so I've had some bugs with Dueling Book where my decks are taking stuff from other decks. Did I have Sense? I guess I get it somewhere, or it's in... Is it in OTS 6? I'll have to check where I get that. Oh yeah, never mind. This was in, and okay, yeah. Showed off the Sacred Sense scroll techniques. It gave us Sacred Sense, yeah. The thing about Sixth Sense is also like obviously being able to draw 5 or 6, game winning, but also the thing about Mekk-Knights and having to play around with the columns. We'll start covering the actual deck now as I talk about this. All of the Mekk-Knights have the same summoning condition, where if 2 or more cards are in the same column, you can special summon this card from your hand in that column, which means that you need your opponent to have a card in a column, and then you need to have your own back row in that column, or you need your opponent to put 2 cards in a column. But Jeexx knows Mekk-Knight is in the set, so I don't think he's ever going to do that himself. So having like trap cards that we can set is actually really important, because like whatever column Jeexx has a monster, then we can set a back row in that, and then we can just summon the Mekk-Knight in that column. So that's why having access to good trap cards is really important and good, and that's another like contributor to why I think like Mekk-Knight is nice in this set. I just feel like everything comes together for Mekk-Knights here. We do also have Tickaboo, all of our stuff that we actually care about, our psychics, and even to add to that, like even the Cyframe stuff is our psychics, and even one of our 2 hand traps that we've elected to run here is a psychic. So we don't care about Tickaboo, and it can be potentially devastating for Jeexx depending on what he's playing. And since I'm at this point, I guess I'll cover the rest of the side as well. We have multiple the 2 other ones like this as well in the main, as I'll cover in a little. Actually, I guess this is so bad. I'm so over across everywhere. I should in the future I'll just go in order, but for this one, like, I'll cover things in orthodox order. MST in the side, 2 in the main. This is once again, like here, we can set it to just have a card there in a column. We have Mjolnir here. Mjolnir probably not going to use, but Mjolnir gives access to Scythe, and Scythe can potentially be obviously very devastating. And then just to have like more of our like normal summons that I talked about, we have Phantom Sky Blaster here. At the very least, it gives us 2 different bodies on the board, and then we can do stuff with that. And Red Ren is their second copy here as well. But for the main deck, I'll start with Avram. It's a 2k beater. It's here just because none of the Mekk-Knights, like, we're always special summoning these, so I want more normal summons, and currently, like, otherwise I only have Red Resonator, or if I want to normal summon like Ghost Ogre. But Avram gives us a Mekk-Knight name, and it gives us a normal summonable Mekk-Knight. So that's what it's here for. For the other Mekk-Knights, I already covered the special summoning condition with the column, so I'll just talk about their other effects. For Blue Sky, if it's normal or special summon, you can add a Mekk-Knight monster with different names except Blue Sky from your deck to your hand, equal the number of opponent's cards in this card column, which means that obviously there's always going to be at least one. Well, actually not always, because if you have a back row and your own link, then okay, then there might be a chance that there are none of your opponent's cards, but like the likelihood of us making any link monster without summoning Mekk-Knights is very low. So usually this is going to be add 1 card, but sometimes it might be even 2. But you get to add Mekk-Knight monsters except for Blue Sky from your deck to your hand, and the stuff that we're always going to be adding is Purple Nightfall. Same summoning condition once again, and then as a quick effect, you can target a Mekk-Knight monster you control, banish it until the standby phase of your next turn, and if you do, you add a Mekk-Knight monster from your deck to your hand, except Purple Nightfall, and you can only use this effect once per turn. So the thing about Purple Nightfall is you're always going to bounce Purple Nightfall itself, because then it protects itself, it gets the bounce, you get the search, it hits the field again, and then once again, like, you can bounce it as a quick effect. It's incredibly good, and it is what contributes to the consistency of the deck. Like, you get Blue Sky on the board just so you can search Purple Nightfall, and the Purple Nightfall will, for the rest of the game, protect itself and will just get you everything that you ever need. Then we have Indigo Eclipse. Why did I pronounce it like that? Indigo Eclipse. And Indigo's own effect is, as a quick effect, you can target a Mekk-Knight monster you control and move that target to another of your main monster zones. And this might not seem like a big deal, but not only is it a level 8, so alongside Purple Nightfall, if we want to, or if we have multiples, then we can make our Galaxy Ice package stuff, but also, like, just being able to move our stuff to other monster zones is obviously really nice. Purple Nightfall fixes it itself, obviously, because when it banishes itself, then, you know, you get to put it on another monster zone after it comes back from that, so it fixes itself. But apart from that, like, Indigo Eclipse being able to fix our columns for other stuff is really nice. For the rest of the Mekk-Knights, we're running only 1 copy of each. We have a Green Horizon here, which when an attack is declared, involving this card and an opponent's monster in this card's column specifically, you can target a Mekk-Knight monster from a graveyard, add it to your hand. If somehow we lose something like Purple Nightfall, or if we have Blue Sky in the grave or anything, like we can get those back. We can even recycle our big link that we'll talk about in a little bit. But obviously, like, this is a little bit specific, so that's why we're only running a one copy of it for the name. Then we have Red Moon and Yellow Star, and these basically do the exact same thing, where once per turn you can banish a... Sorry, it is not once per turn. You can banish a Mekk-Knight monster from your graveyard and then target one face-up monster in this card's column. So technically it is once per turn, and destroy it. And then Yellow Star does the exact same, but for spell traps. So these are just to give you pops for whatever you need at the time. And our hand traps are Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit, and Ash Blossom Joy Spring. Don't have to explain those. And then we're running a single contact C from the set. When your opponent normally spell summon a monster except during damage state, you can spell summon this card from your hand to the opponent's field in defense position. And the controller cannot fusion, synchro, exist, or link summon unless they use this card as a material. This is mostly just here, like, if Jeexx is running something that, like, isn't like focused on link summoning and is instead like running something off the other ones, then obviously this can completely foil his plans. But mostly this, like, initially this was another copy of Red Resonator, but because Red Resonator only hits level 4 or lower monsters, it's not like alive as much as I'd like it to be. So I figured that instead I'll throw the third copy of Red Resonator and throw in one contact seat just to see if it performs. Could have an argument to have this in the side and instead have a third copy of MST in the main deck, but we'll see how it performs, and then we can side it out if need be. As for our spell trap lineup, we've covered a lot of stuff already. I didn't talk about Call by the Grave, what it actually does. I just said that it's entering the generic pool. But what it does is mostly it's an anti-hand trap, because obviously, like, the hand trap like Ash Blossom, they need to be discarded for the effects to happen. So then you can Call by the Grave to banish it in the grave, and then at the end of the next turn its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects of the monsters on the field with the same name. But you can obviously just use this to also foil any other activations of stuff in the graveyard. But mostly it's there to counter hand traps. And obviously with Purple Nightfall adding us stuff every single time, every single turn, and Blue Sky being there to add Purple Nightfall to our hand, we really don't want to get Ash Blossom. So that's why I'm maxing out on it. As for the rest, we have Word Legacy Scars for our field spell. All Mekk-Knight monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can discard a Mekk-Knight monster or Word Legacy card to draw one. And you can banish 8 Mekk-Knight monsters with different names from your graveyard and are face up on the field. Send your opponent's entire hand and extra that to the graveyard. Basically, you can banish 8 Mekk-Knight names to win the game on the spot. And that's also why, like, I was talking about, like, having these for the names. Obviously with, like, our main deck Mekk-Knights, we have 6 out of the, like, usual ones. Then we have Avram there as the 7th one, and then our extra deck is going to complete the 8th name. So we have 8, but this is not I don't think I've ever seen this resolve, and, like, I don't expect this effect to resolve, but if we pull it off, it would be really cool. But mostly it's there, like, the attack boost is nice. Mekk-Knights are relatively big, so that shouldn't matter, but the fixing is just nice, where you can discard a Mekk-Knight monster or a Word Legacy card to draw one. The Word Legacy part is nice, because obviously if we open multiple scars, we can discard one to then draw something else instead. Then we have double Word Legacy Key, a continuous spell. When this card is activated, you can target one of your banished Mekk-Knight monster or Word Legacy cards to add it back to your hand. Obviously stuff that we're banishing with Yellow Star and Red Moon. And then negate any trap effect that activates the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster you control. Having a continuous spell that negates your opponent's trap effects and just permanently occupies a column is obviously very nice. So that's what Word Legacy Key is really good for. And then Word Legacy Secret, 3 copies, is a continuous trap. Does the exact same, but this time negates any monster effects, and then when it's activated, you can target a level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard to special summon it. So just 2 really good effects, and this isn't like, this is literally like, we have a stipulation here where it needs to be level 5 or higher, but on that it's just Called by the Grave, and it also negates your opponent's monster effects if they happen to happen in the same column. So 2 extremely powerful effects while also giving us a card in the column, so very good. And then for the extra deck, like I already talked about this, we've seen Omega multiple times, I don't have to talk about that. Here we have Hip Hoshinin as the light attribute monster. Obviously they're just enable further extra deck plays. We also have 2 copies of Underclock Taker from the set itself. Takes 2 effect monsters, 1 for the you can target a face of monster this card points to, and 1 face monster opponent controls, and the opponent's target loses attack equal to the attack of the target this monster points to until the end of this turn. It's just a slightly less conditional if we like slightly less conditional like Link 2 if we can't make Hip Hoshinin. And then anything about like Underclock Taker taking just 2 effect monster, we can make this with like Resonator and then summon anything like even some of our like hand traps with res, and we can make that. Then we have Mekk-Knight Spectrum Supreme. While not only having like an insanely cool card art, it is our like big boss that takes 2+ Mekk-Knight monsters. The 2+ probably because they knew that they were going to make a Link to Mekk-Knight monster, but for now it doesn't matter for us because we just need 3 Mekk-Knight monsters. It can attack directly if it's the only card in its column, and if this card in the extra monster zone points to no monsters whatsoever, it cannot be destroyed by card effect and cannot be targeted with card effects by your opponent. You can send one of the cards you control in this card's column to the grave to spell summon a Mekk-Knight monster from deck in defense position. So it is a like big dumb beater that like if it's the only thing in your column, its own column, then it can attack directly. Your opponent can't do anything with it. And obviously if your opponent summons something into its column, now you have 2 things in a column that you can spell summon Mekk-Knights into, and then you can send them to spell summon stuff from your deck instead into another like space to now once again like open up the space underneath Spectrum Supreme and get like those rolling, get stuff in the grave. Like it does a lot for the deck. And finally, Saryuja Skull-Dread. Obviously, all of our stuff, like if we have columns occupied, like being able to spam themselves out, means that we can actually make Saryuja Skull-Dread relatively nicely. And takes 2+ monster with different names and gains effects based on the number of materials used for its link summon. If a monster normal spell summon to zone this card points to, it gains permanently 300 attack and defense. If you use 2 different monsters, so 2 Link 2s, I guess, doesn't really matter. The thing that we're going to be seeing most of the times if we're summoning Saryuja is probably this one. Once they're doing your main phase, you can spell summon a monster from your hand. And this is really nice because this removes the stipulation of caring about columns. So once we, obviously, it's a win, kind of a win more at that point when we establish enough of a board to make Saryuja. But then like being able to summon our Mekk-Knights freely with this, obviously removing the column stipulation is really nice. And then if we manage to make this with 4, which I guess would be like most likely it's going to be like 4 different Mekk-Knights and then maybe like Phantom Sky Blaster or whatever Red Resonator summon does, you get to draw 4 and then bottom 3 cards from your hand in any order you'd like on Link Summon. Obviously very powerful effects, being able to refuel and like sort your hand like that. But more often than not, like we're just looking for this to remove the column stipulation. 22 minutes for a deck breakdown. I did warn, but yeah, like still apologies for that. I also remember now that I didn't cover this. Whispers is a continuous trap that now negates the spell effects in the same columns as my Mekk-Knights, just like Key was for traps and Secret was for monsters. But the reason why it's in the side and we don't really care about it is on activation it just gives a level 5 or higher monster on the field 1000 attack and defense on the end of the turn. So the activation effect, like whereas Word Legacy Key gives you back stuff from the Banished Zone, and Secrets is just a Call of the Haunted. The effect of Whispers is a lot worse, so that's why we don't care about it that much. But yeah, sorry once again for the very lengthy deck breakdown. I don't think we're gonna have a deck breakdown this lengthy in a long while, hopefully, from me at least. But I'm so excited about Mekk-Knight. Like I said, like I love their lore, I love their aesthetic. Like I think the like gameplay, it's like very consistent. It doesn't like prevent your opponent from playing, but you have consistent ways to get stuff from your deck to your hand. Like their stat lines are good. Like you have pops for both back row and monsters. Like it can just do a lot, and I'm so excited to see what we can do with this. But thank you so very much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed the deck breakdown. Hopefully you enjoyed Jeexx as well, and afterwards we will see you in the dueling zone.
Okay, so we're playing Extreme Force. We are running Ghost Ogre and Ash Blossom as our 2 hand traps from the Legacy stuff. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm running Ash Blossom and Gamma from my hand trap claws, but in this set we have a ghost. So I am playing Ghost Ogre through that ghost card. Yeah. Clever, I know. It's and anyway. We are running Contact C. Originally, this was here because I was going to run Maxi, right? Because Maxi was, I can Legacy into Maxi. But then, right before we start playing, okay, no kayfabe for this one. Right before we start playing, Weebfox was like, oh yeah, I had to take out Maxi from my deck because I forgot that we banned it completely. So I had to take away Maxi as well. I'm not going to kayfabe this one. Then we have Ghost Bird of Bewitchment, which is how I got Axe to Ghost Ogre. I also realized after the fact that this also gave me Axe to Droll. So if I wanted to, I could be playing Ash Blossom, Droll, Gamma, and Ghost Ogre. So just saying. But this card is overall pretty cool. It has the effect of this card gains an effect based on your main monster zone it is in. Leftmost, it's 1000 power attack and defense more. In the rightmost, it can make 2 attacks each battle phase. And in the center, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. And any others, so the 2 behind the EMZs, monsters in this column cannot activate their effects. This card is really cool. Like, I've never seen this card before, but as a normal summon, that can be a 2.3 beat stick or can swing twice for game, or even has the ability to be essentially a wall against effects. But also the fact that you can turn off EMZ cards is huge. Like, certain EMZ cards are just like absolutely a menace, like, right? Like, for example, when you think about topologic and whatnot, those cards are perfect examples. You place this thing in the same column as that, and now it can't activate its effect. You turned off an annoying as fuck effect. Perfect. And I think that makes this card one of the more interesting, like, not garnets quite. I guess you could call them garnets. Like filler. I'm playing this as filler to get Ghost and Bird, but this I could see myself playing as a tech option in the future. Then we Ghost Ogre, as I said. Then we have the 3 Mekk-Knights. We have Blue Sky, Green Horizon, and Indigo Eclipse. I'm playing specifically these 3 because Indigo Eclipse can reposition itself and has protection. It's 2.4k. And Green Horizon has the ability to recur a Mekk-Knight. And Blue Sky is a Searcher. So if I hit any of these, it's pretty fine. Like, the only issue is that Green Horizon doesn't really do anything if I don't have any other Mekk-Knights lying, but still. Then we have Gamma and Driver, because that's 4 cards out of the deck. Then we have Zombino as another filler card. It has the lore text or the flavor text of the 2 are so close, they die and return to life inseparable. This is a duo, like, not a duo card, but like a card that is supposed to be a play on Zombino. I have it in here because I like the card. And it's kind of similar situation to Holo Holo. I'm probably going to side it out for game 2, but yeah, we'll see. Then we have Mythical Beast Basilisk. That is the actual deck that we're going to be playing. I went through a lot non-engine first. Mythical Beasts are a deck that I have never heard of before now. This is the first time I have ever actually seen them be played by anyone. And they are fairly interesting that they have the effect of if you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can destroy this card. And if you do, shuffle 1 face-up spellcaster Pendulum monster from your extra deck into your main deck and then draw 1 card. These cards are all spellcaster monsters, and they're all Pendulum monsters, so you can shuffle any one of them essentially. It can be this one though, it cannot recycle itself. But yeah, then it has the effect of each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell resolves, you can remove 3 counters from your field and return 1 Mythical Beast card from your Pendulum Zone or face up from your extra deck to the Pendulum Zone. Where you can remove 3 spell counters from one of your Mythical Beast card from your Pendulum Zone or face up in your extra deck, to your hand. You can just bounce 1 from your hand, recur 1 essentially. Which, I don't know what you'd ever use it for the Pendulum Zone effect, but the extra deck effect for sure, because that's pretty good for this deck. Garuda, if there's no other pendulum card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can target 1 other spell trap card on the field and destroy it. Important note, this says if you have no other card in your Pendulum Zone. It doesn't say, because I'm not sure if this works in terms of like if you have a card set in your Pendulum Zone, if your opponent forces you to set something in your Pendulum Zone, you can't use this or something. I'm not sure of this. So I'm just going to try to avoid setting my cards in. I must admit, I made that mistake. And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm going to move this so that I can actually use these effects. Sorry. Each time a spell or trap card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell resolves, or when your opponent normal summons or spell summons a monster, you can remove 3 spell counters from your field and spell summon this card from your hand, and return that opponent's special summon monster to the hand. This card is pretty annoying. It essentially, after you set up a board, it works to deter your opponent from summoning anything, even if it's like, it doesn't negate the summon, obviously, but it can still do some shit. So, and then Mythical Beast Jackal, which is like the actual thing that enables this deck. If you have no cards in your Pendulum Zone, other Pendulum Zone, you draw one face a card you control that you can place spell counters on, destroy this card, and place one spell counter on that card. Each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card, and when that spell resolves, you can remove 3 spell counters from your field and tribute this card. Spell summon 1 Mythical Beast effect monster from your deck. So you can summon out Jackal King or Master Cerberus. If you have no other spell pendulum cards in your Pendulum Zone, you can destroy this card. And if you do, spell summon 1 face-up Mythical Beast Pendulum monster from your extra deck. And each time a spell trap card is activated, you can place 2 counters on this card. Once per turn, when upon activates a monster effect, you remove 2 spell counters from this card and negate the activation. Sorry about that, I dropped something. And if you do, destroy that card. Master Cerberus, if you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can destroy this card and add a level 7 or lower Mythical Beast effect monster from your deck to your hand. So essentially, it searches any other card other than itself. Each time a spell card is activated, place 2 counters on this card. Cannot be destroyed by battle by card effects while you have 4 or more counters on your field. And once per turn, you can move 4 spell counters from your field and target 1 card your opponent controls. Banish it face up, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the banished monster's original attack until the end of the opponent's turn. Then Medusa. Again, no card in Pendulum Zone. Target 1 monster in your graveyard that you can place a spell counter on. Destroy this card if you do spell summon that card and place 1 spell counter on it. I don't think you're going to be seeing this card ever, really. I think you probably don't really want to play this thing because these cards will never hit the graveyard pretty much. The only times that they will is when things have... Like, you can make them, oh, well, Mythical Bestiary or Bestiary will be making them hit the graveyard, right? But I don't think that's very likely to happen. Well, I guess I have a bunch of these, but yeah, whatever. Each time a spell or trap card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card, and when that spell resolves once per turn during the battle phase. When that spell resolves once per turn during the battle phase, as a separate effect. Quick effect, you can remove 2 spell counters on the field, and then target 1 face of monster on the field. Its attack and defense become half its current attack and defense until the end of this turn. So this is only a soft once per turn, which I think makes this kind of crazy to think about, because like you can probably use you can probably do some bullshit using Cerberus and stuff, but yeah. I think this is by far the weakest one out of all of these. Garuda is really annoying. Basilisk is really strong with the draw effect, also allowing you to recur some of your more important pieces. Jackal King is obviously like a monster negate, right? Yeah, it's monster negate, and Master Cerberus is a removal, single target removal, while also being a massive beat stick. So I think overall, like the monster lineup is pretty strong. Best theory, send to the 2 top cards of your deck to the graveyard, and then target 1 face card in the field, and you can place spell counters on, and place up to 2 spell counters on it. If this card is in its owner's position, is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can spell summon one monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on, and if you do, place 2 spell counters on it. Then we have Power of the Guardians, which says anytime an attack is declared involving the equipped monster, place a spell counter on this card, and the equipped monster gains an attack and defense. And if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove 1 spell counter from this card, from your field instead. So, yeah. Oh, it's only on this card. Okay. Never mind. Each time an opponent's monster effect is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card, and when that effect resolves, you can send this card with 6 counters or more spell counters to the graveyard and add 1 spell from your deck to your hand. I did it again. I keep reading this as when that spell resolves, you can then do this, but it's a place 1 spell counter on this card when that spell resolves. It's so annoying. Showdown of the Secret Sense Scroll Techniques. When your opponent activates a spell trap card or monster effect with the same name as a card in the graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. This is probably not going to see any use, but we'll see where this goes. More Ghost Birds, Inspector Border, cannot be normal summon or spell summoned if you control a monster. Neither player can activate monster effects unless the number of monster effects that the player has previously activated this turn is less than the number of monster types currently on the field. That being Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, Pendulum, or Link. And if its activation was negated, it still counts towards the total of that turn. Only count the effects that were activated while this monster was face up on the field. So essentially, you can play your turn, right? You can play your turn, and then if you can get this thing out after you've played your turn, by controlling no monsters at the end of it, you can have a completely set up board and your opponent can not activate any card effects. Yippee! I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Woo! Floodgate Supreme! Seraphinite, Garnet, Decode Talker, 3 billion Fusion because it's in from... there's a card... I think this is from the OTS. I might be mistaken though. I do remember I got them from something, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Sorry. It's been a while. There can be only one. Each player can only control 1 monster of each type. If a player controls 2 or more monsters once the same type, they must send some to the graveyard, so they control no more than one monster of that type. This is a really bad card against my deck specifically because it's, you know, House of Hard Arc. All of these are just spellcasters, so I'm probably gonna not use this, but it's in the side just to be safe. Then, sorry about that. We have got Koji King Giant Trainer in case we end up in a situation where we have 3 Cerberus out. We can use this to maybe burn for game or something. We have Ouroboros if we happen to get 3 of these level 4s out. Ouroboros discards cards from your opponent's hand, bounce a card from their board, or banish a card from the graveyard. Essentially, imagine Trisha Life bad. Oh man, I need some water. Lemon Crab King, I'm not going to go over the effect. Most of these cards are here just for the sake of having access to them. This one, I think we could actually play. You can detach a material from this card, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and also neither play can spell summon monsters from their graveyards. So depending on what Weebfox is playing, this can be really good. Then we have Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, which requires 2 Pendulum monsters, which is originally the reason why I was thinking of building this. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. Once per turn, you can target 1 other face up card you control and destroy it. Then add 1 face up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. And if a card in your Pendulum zone leaves the field, draw 1 card. This card is kind of crazy. It's like, if you happen to get this card out while actually still being able to play your turn somehow with this deck, you can get so much value out of this one Electromite. Even if you just draw 1 card off of it, it's pretty big because you've already got 1 card extra in your extra deck, and now you get to draw 1 once you pop a card. This is legitimately really good, I think. Well, obviously it's really good. Electromite itself is really good, but in this deck in particular, I think this can be pretty good. So we were just called red. 2 or more monsters with different names. This card gains effects based on the number of materials used for its link summon. 2 or more if a monster is spell summoned to a zone this card points to. Normal spell summon against 300 attack and defense once per turn. During your main phase, you can spell summon a monster from your hand. Any monster, not like limited to level 4 or lower. When this card is link summoned, you can draw 4 cards, then place 3 of them into the onto the bottom of your deck in any order. Underclock Taker, 2 effect monster once per turn. You can target 1 face monster this card points to, and a face-up monster your opponent controls, and the opponent's target loses attack equal to the attack of the target this monster points to until the end of this turn. This card is actually like fairly used. Like back in the day, it used to be something that people got a bunch of because it was not a nightmare. But this was before Nightmares came out, like a few months before Nightmares came out. It was a generic link 2 for effect monsters, and it had a usable effect and a down arrow. This card was like actual fire at that time, if you will. Zephyr Mellotron, 2 or more spell summon monster from the extra deck. If a monster this card points to was spell summoned from the extra deck if a monster this card points to that was spell summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, add 1 monster from your graveyard to your or 1 face pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. You can target 1 monster on each player's field that was spell summoned from the extra deck, and except this card, banish both of them until the end phase. That one doesn't. I think this is a cool deck. Like I had a blast playing this. You're gonna see that in the episode, but I had a blast playing this. I'm kind of surprised this flew under my radar 10 years ago, or like 7 years ago now, but still. Kind of keen on maybe playing this again in the future, maybe as a kind of smaller engine with having stuff like just Jackal in, or even just like Mythical Beast, Jackal King, and Master Servers, but we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, good luck with the games.
What is up, ladies and lads? Welcome back to History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey, this time with Extreme Force and OT6. I'm in the exact same attire as last time, and the reason is that like I said, we are doing these back to back. And
change clothes for a week.
Yeah, actually, it might be, depending on how I do our schedule, it might be 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks I've been wearing this exact same shirt, yeah. But no, I talked about it a little bit at the end of the last episode, but we still have to have some scheduling stuff to figure out. Basically, whether or not we can find time to record more stuff this week before Jeexx goes on his trip. So depending on that, like the scheduling on the uploads might also be different. Basically, if the previous structure episode had basically a vacant week before like the episode 1, 2, whatever it was before that. If there was a vacant week, then there will also be a couple more. instances of that where it's like the upload is instead every other Sunday. But like if we record some more episodes, then there will be like more weekly stuff. But we'll figure that out. You will see the videos maybe in your feed, and depending on that, know what we end up doing. Did you want to say something?
No, I just sent you a video that appeared in front of me.
Oh,
That was uploaded 2 hours ago.
yippee!
Smasher pass all 9,000 Yu-Gi-Oh monsters.
9,000 is a lot. Yeah, what's the
9,000
video
is
length?
a lot. It's 3 hours and 37 minutes
I
and
see.
33 seconds.
So it's basically just Markiplier, Smasher Pass Pokemon
Smash.
race. There is no context. I will not taking any questions. I will not giving any context. Goodbye.
That's based.
Which is probably the best way to do it. But for today, let's jump into Extreme Force and I want a coin flip. Oh my god.
Now bro's gonna go second and it's gonna be funny.
Yeah. I mean, there,
I gotta read my cards, by the way.
Yeah, that's all G. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, probably, I would like to start by normal summoning Mekk-Knight Avram and passing.
Yeah. Oh! Is he cooking? I don't think he is. I don't think he's actually cooking.
Yeah, no.
He's just
I do also think that like this deck probably would want to go second, but But yeah, Mekk-Knight is like it's an aesthetically very cool archetype. It's obviously an archetype that cares about columns, but it's something that I wanted to play for a long time. I have never played these cards, but they basically care about columns, and then they get effects and do stuff.
I would like to normal summon Mythical Beast Jackal in attack position.
Are you sure you want to put it there though?
I think I would like to put it. I mean, I put it there. This dies, doesn't matter. This thing is gonna die anyway. Like, it's not gonna stay on the field, so it doesn't matter where it goes.
Okay, but what if you can't get to 3 spell counters though?
What if I can't get to 3 spell counters? It's unfortunate that I think you might be right.
Yes.
I think you might actually be right. I would like to activate Mythical Beast Master Cerberus, which is 1 spell counter.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 1 spell counter.
You can destroy this card if you don't level. Mm-hmm.
And I would like to activate the effect of Mythical Beast Master Cerberus to destroy this and add a level 7 or lower Mythical Beast effect monster from my deck to my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add to my hand. It can't be the same card, yes. Or it could be the same card, plus jump.
Yep.
That's huge.
I mean, it could be the same card if you find a way to modulate its level, because it's obviously, a level 8.
Oh, it's an 8. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
keep forgetting this thing. I was thinking it was a 7 original when I was building this. I was almost trying to get big guy in here.
I feel
talking
like
about with Cloud too.
it's so rare for cards to be able to fetch themselves. To have, fetch effects.
Yeah. That's, yeah. I would like to add to my hand a Mythical Beast Jackal King.
Yippee!
And then... Wait, this thing is cracked. What the fuck? Wait. Face of Mythical Beast spends once for extra deck. Wait, that can't be right. I guess it is. Activate this guy.
Local man discovers good cards.
Pop this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Where does this go? Does it go in the extra monster zone or does it go anywhere?
I actually
it's not pendulum
can
summon.
you? Yeah, I actually don't, because I have never seen a pendulum summon happen when there is no links on the field under Master Rule 4. So let's find out.
Yeah, I'm legitimately not aware because I've never done it outside of pendulum summoning. Oh boy, I mean, a pendulum summon doesn't have to be a
According to the Google Gemini, you can pendulum summon face a pendulum monster from your extra deck to either the extra monster zone or a main monster zone, a link monster arrow points to.
Thank you. That's so helpful.
Thank you, Google Gemini. According to our AI overlords, you can summon it to the extra monster zone.
I mean, yeah, I can. I'm more wondering if I have to.
I mean, if you want to summon it, then yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not sure if it's only for pendulum summoning monsters, or if it's also for like just special summoning pendulum monsters. I know it's like under Master Rule 3, but like for the future as well. Because I don't know if it counts as like special summoning from the graveyard, for example, like that kind of thing. Because it's not pendulum summoning.
I mean, graveyard not, because it's just like the whole rule is just like if you summon something from the extra deck, it needs to go to the extra monster zone. Like that's Master Rule 4. So if you're summoning something from the grave, it never goes there, right?
But the problem that I'm thinking about is, does this apply in the future for pendulum monsters? If you're summoning them using effects that say special summon a pendulum monster from face up in your extra deck, not pendulum summon a card.
Yeah, because if it's from the extra deck, then yes.
But that's not for Master Rule 3, for Master Rule 4. Because like legitimately, this is a confusing thing in terms of like where did this go eventually?
Yeah, but we're playing under 4 right now, right?
Yeah, that's not the point. Then activate Basilisk. Put another counter on this guy. Pop Basilisk to return a spellcaster monster from my extra deck to the deck and draw a card.
I like these cards' art. I do remember I had like one Mythical Beast, but I think it was like from the older batch, like on that like IRL, and I always thought like it was very cool. I think like the Mythical Beasts have like very cool aesthetic.
I see. Nice. I don't think I've ever seen this cards before this. I think like generally these cards look pretty cool overall. Like the aesthetic is fun. I like it. Let me double check. Can I be destroyed by card effects for 4 more counters are under your fields? Once per turn, you can remove all spare counters from your field and target one card your opponent controls. Banish it face up. And if you do this card against attack, you'll let banish monsters attack. I can just activate this guy. Yeah, I activate this guy. Wait, can this thing have more than... I think it can. This can have one... There's no limit on this, no. I put one more on this guy. And then... I think... Because I can sack this guy. Actually, wait. If I may. Return this to hand. Tribute this to special summon another copy of Master Cerberus. Because I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Mythical Beast, extra monster, effect monster from your deck. Yeah. I summon another one of these guys on my board.
Yeah, so currently Master Cerberus has 2 counters, correct?
Yeah. But then I gotta activate this other one again. And then this card gains 2 and Master Cerberus, the other one gains 2.
Yep.
And then I would like to to remove 4 counters
from your field,
cards on the board, and then banish this guy and have this card gain equal to its original attack.
Yeah, I mean, whoever you used it, obviously I need to target that, so I'm going to pop that, but still resolves, so this gets banished, but now, like, the thing that remove the stuff.
I attack for 2.8k in this case.
I will take the 28.
And then I pass.
Odoro.
It is a pretty bad matchup for having Ghost Ogre now that I think about it, because everything pops itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Wait. No, it doesn't matter. You can just pop these things in this game. Because they're activated by just saying I activate it, and then you can respond to it, and then it gets popped.
Now then.
Bro.
I'm playing Mekk-Knight, man.
Okay. I would like to normal summon... Actually, before I normal summon, I would like to activate the Mythical Beast Jackal King to pop it, and special summon a Mythical Beast Pendulum Monster from my extra deck.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to summon back out my Mythical Master Cerberus,
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah, and activate a Mythical Beast Garuda to put 2 counters on each, and then
Whoa,
I would like to normal summon Zombino.
Zombino! The two are so
Battlefest.
close, they die and return to life. Inseparable.
And I swing for 2k.
Yep.
And
I mean, yeah. I'm playing Mekk-Knights against apparently an actual deck, so not much we can do there.
that's yeah.
I don't think there's much else that I want to do here. I guess. Actually, we will do this. Oh, actually, just super quickly, I need to check one thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure. But just to make sure. Yeah, okay.
I'm kind of surprised how well these cards flow into one another. I
Yeah,
didn't expect that.
It seems
when I
very
built this.
consistent.
Yeah, like as long as you get pretty much one of them, you'll always get a card on board, and they'll always have interaction with you. Like for example, Garuda has the effect of if you summon a monster, I can special summon Garuda from my hand by removing 3 counters to bounce the card that you summon. The monsters that you summon, sorry. Which I think is pretty good. And there's obviously like other effects on the other cards that I haven't actually read, because I was just mostly putting these in the sense of, okay, these I just need 3 each. Okay, got it. I'm also surprised these guys are all spellcasters, because I keep thinking they're Winged Beast and Beast as a spellcaster, but
The same thing with the Magic Specters, where it's like, you would think that there's something else, but nope, it's a bunch of fucking wizards. Sure. Now the question is, and the answer is first.
always first, never second. Only idiots go second.
Don't love that, but I have learned my lesson. Let me start by activating World Legacy Scars.
Yep.
And then let me use the effect of it to discard a Mekk-Knight monster or a World Legacy card to draw 1. And I would like to pitch from my hand this a Green Horizon to draw 1. And then that's gonna do it.
Okay. Normal summon Mythical Beast Jackal.
Think I've seen this before.
Activate Mythical Beast Master Cerberus. Gain a counter. Would like to activate the effect of Mythical Beast Master Cerberus
Yep.
to destroy it and add a level 7 or lower Mythical Beast monster. I would like to add to my hand a Mythical Beast Jackal King. Then I would like to activate a Mythical Beast Jackal King. Another counter. Would like to pop the Mythical Beast Jackal King to special summon out from my extra Game Master Cerberus. Summon out the Master Cerberus and this EMZ. Then I would like to activate Power of the Guardians, targeting my Master Cerberus, giving it 2 counters, and 1 more counter for my Beast King Jackal, or Beast Jackal. Then I would like to activate the effect of Mythical Beast Jackal to tribute it, and special summon from my deck a Mythical Beast monster.
I'm pretty sure this shit just kills me, so I'm going to have to gamma this.
Okay. Oh, that's not the right place. Top attack, shuffle.
Wait, why
Yep.
did it not summon?
Oh wait, actually, wait. Can I negate this? Wait, I think I can negate this, right?
Probably.
Because it's a summon from deck, right? Yes, I frame driver from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Yeah.
Spell about this card and a deck. Yeah.
Then
Yep.
I negate the effect. Yep. And then summon out Master Cerberus. Then activate a.
I'm pretty sure
Whatever
it
this guy's name
negates
is.
also the summon of. Actually, wait, this is a.
It negates the.
Because
It
it
negates
definitely
the
makes
whole
sense.
effect, right? Because it's not just the summon that can negate; it's the entire effect.
Yeah, because like it would definitely would matter. Because just having the body of Gamma on field, I'm pretty sure like that would mean that I actually live. But because it negates the whole thing imaging in it, I'm pretty sure I just die.
And then activate this guy. 2 counters, 2 counters, 1 counter. Pop this thing. Shuffle a spellcaster back into my deck. Then draw 1 card. Activate another Power the Guardians on the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
Yeah,
point
that's
to playing
GG,
this.
yeah.
This is you're playing like
Yeah.
super consistent deck, and I'm playing
I-
garbage. I even like had literally everything here, but it
Wow.
just if I do, the issue with Mekk-Knight is you need to open like you need blue sky, you need a normal summon. You need a spell or trap, because obviously then you can normal Avram set into the column where your opponent has something. You can set the back row there, and then you have a blue sky online. And obviously the neat thing about Mekk-Knights is, well, I say neat thing, the only good thing apart from them actually having like very good extract monsters is obviously Purple Nightfall, because it keeps bouncing itself and you constantly get Mekk-Knights, and obviously when you're bouncing it then you can always realign it on the column. But the issue with the deck is obviously getting there, and the moment your opponent knows what you're playing, then they're gonna play around columns. Columns have always been a gimmicky mechanic to play around anyways, but I just like Mekk-Knights are aesthetically, like, I think after Galaxy Photon, my like literally single favorite archetype in the whole game. They look super cool, and the whole like they're obviously a part of the whole World Legacy story arc, which is my single favorite story arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I recommend you give it a listen if you're at all interested.
I would recommend that as well, everybody. I think overall Yu-Gi-Oh lore is really interesting, and it deserves for people to be paying attention to it. Because it kind of gets skimmed over by the fact that, haha, Yugi, funny hair. Well, it feels like, unlike in Magic, where the cards themselves are often used as a vehicle for telling the story. I know we said that Magic is banned today, but just as an example.
I mean, you did talk about it even in the earlier episode, so you know.
Okay.
We already broke that rule, so go on.
We already broke the. But yeah, the point being that I would like it if people paid more attention to the stories being told in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I'm really glad that they're starting to do the card game chronicle thing, where they actually make like short animations about the story arcs in the cards. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I'm genuinely baffled by this deck.
It's very good.
I didn't read a single card other than like Jackal, and I was like, okay. So I activate cards and I get Jackal. I have Jackal on field. I activate cards. I sack Jackal. I get to summon this guy. Okay. And then when I was playing this game 1, I read Master Cerberus, and it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean this card enables himself through Jackal and also like is a searcher for Jackal? And what? And then on top of that, you have cards like Mythical Bestiary, which is like, what? It's a quick play spell card first and foremost, which puts counters on cards, but it also, because it's a quick play spell card, these things immediately trigger their fucking counter effects. So when you have 4 counters on these cards, suddenly they're indestructible. Huh? Who printed this? And I haven't ever heard of this, as I was saying, which implies that like there's obviously something wrong with this deck. Like there's obviously something like a flaw in somewhere.
This era also was still like when Spiral was super dominant, and Isolt and Electromite just also came out. So it just, I'm pretty sure that the thing is just for obviously the era when you're thinking of the actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like there was so much stuff, and like this thing, you need to be playing a relatively pure variant, so you can't really abuse Electromite the way that you can like actual pendulum spam decks could do. So it's like Electromite obviously being insanely powerful, still banned to this day, obviously. Goes to show how strong pendulum decks are and how insanely high the ceiling is. So it was just like it didn't abuse Electromite as well as like just other pendulum spam could. Isolde obviously made like warrior piles extremely powerful, and then Spiral, obviously tier 0 deck insanely powerful. So I think it's just the unfortunate case of like there's a tier 0 decks, there's a bunch of good stuff, so it's like a tier 2 rogue strategy is just not gonna cut it, and that's why it's gonna get overshadowed by just the like actually good stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's a good. I can completely ignore the fact that Spiral is still like giga strong. Isolde is also like, from here on out, every single warrior deck. Like right now, warriors don't really have a good way of summoning Isolde for free because New Space Connector isn't out yet. So Isolde is currently still like something that people are tinkering with. But after New Space Connector comes out in like a set or two, it's like immediately okay. 3 of this, 1 Aqua Dolphin, boom. Like Golki was really good this time because they could play Isolde really easily. Like this was the actual moment in time when Golki was performing a little, because Golkis were really underperforming up until now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can, yeah.
But yeah, well, for me, like the choice was easy because the only thing that was kind of unfortunate for this was just the there wasn't great normal summons, because that's the thing about Mekk-Knight is you don't need your normal summon. So there weren't like great normal summons in the set itself. There was like, that's why I had Red Resonator here to have a normal summon that actually does something. There was Avram, but like in hindsight, I should have thrown. I only had one copy of Phantom Skyblaster in my side, because it obviously came from OT6. In hindsight, I think like if I were to make this deck again, I think I would bump that number up to 3, because it's just a normal summon that actually does something. Although you can't really do that much with the tokens, but it can still get you to Saruja, which this deck actually, if you get going, like you can make Saruja really easily with this. And that's the bummer about this deck, because it's like everything you do is actually really good and really consistent once you get going, but the issue just like needing those 2 cards in the columns is what ultimately like hurts it. Because like after you get the column going, you get Blue Sky. Blue Sky gives you Purple Nightfall. Then you can summon Purple Nightfall, which protects itself every single turn, and now you're every single turn getting more Mekk-Knights. You have Purple Nightfall that can relocate itself to any column once it gets summoned, so as long as your opponent is playing any cards, you can always get the whatever you fetch off Purple Nightfall, you can get that summoned. You can get, obviously, thanks to you being able to spam special summons so easily, you can make Saruja really easily, and now, once again, like, you're removing another limitation. If you get, well, if you're always getting the at least the 3+, so you're getting now an additional special summon, and it doesn't have a level limitation, and all of your Mekk-Knights, like, they can then hit the board much more easily. And obviously Spectrum Supreme is an insanely good card. It's a 3k beater that can attack directly if it's not pointing to anything, and it can also use the cards that it points to summon more Mekk-Knights. So it's just like, it's such a like good and well-oiled engine once it gets going, but unfortunately I couldn't show that off because I just didn't get anything to put in the back row. And like, that's kind of the unfortunate, because obviously like Saruja is really hard to get from anywhere. Like the name Saruja and Dread are words that do not show up often. Skull a little bit, but like the other 2 parts are really hard to come by, which is unfortunate because like Saruja overall like, is just a really good card, and especially in this
honestly,
deck, like, it does a lot.
For me, it kind of feels like Saruja should be the Link monster that we allow to be generic. It's like, it's hard enough to summon, where it requires actual cards for you to play it, and you can gain a lot of effects from it if you play it correctly.
I mean,
Like,
I don't hate that idea, because like it's also the thing about Saruja also is like, if you're thinking a lot of like good generic stuff, Zeus nukes the field. Baron prevents your opponent from playing. Like there's a lot of like these like other like summoning types have their like big generic bosses that just deals with anything their opponent tries to do. Saryuja by itself, it just lets you do more stuff, but it doesn't prevent your opponent from playing. And those are like, in my opinion, well, super hot take. I think the coolest cards in Yu-Gi-Oh are the ones that let you do more stuff but don't prevent your opponent from playing. Well, what a brave take. But yeah, like I don't hate that, but that's maybe at some point in the future, which that gives me a good segue. A thing that I couldn't get done. Another thing actually that was like really good about this is obviously like getting a lot enabling your columns. You'd like to have like some neat trap cards. They don't come by often, but let's just say that this is a pretty good trap card. This thing that lets you either mill 5 or 6 from your deck or draw that amount. So yeah, obviously these showing up in OT6, obviously a really big boon as well. But and apart from that, like one card that I want to highlight here and one that we will be seeing going forward is Called by the Grave. So we've also, obviously, we have opened the floodgates for hand traps, and hand traps overall, like, do make the game healthier, in my opinion. But I think, like, just as those are a pretty core part about the back and forth, I do think that having hand traps and then having something to fight hand traps makes Yu-Gi-Oh! What Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually tends to be. But for Called by the Grave, it can also be just used as a negate to anything in the grave, and it is generically very powerful. But I do want to still like keep it in check. So unlike in this one where obviously we had unlimited access to it, I do think while adding Called by, we're adding Called by to the generic pool. I would like to limit it to 1 copy. This is not only to prevent like every single hand trap always having a call met by Called by, but also at this point our generic pool is getting relatively big. Obviously some stuff there is just still like very niche, obviously polymerization and plague spreader. You do not just want to slam those into any of your decks, but we have already 6 slots for hand traps. We have MST there, and now we're gonna have a Called by. So
and
that's
terraforming too. Don't forget, like terraforming is like you can just put a field spell in here, and it's like a free activation.
It's becoming like more relevant. Obviously, that's like I think it's harder to justify a 3, but like in the future, it's gonna be easier to justify a 3. And even if we let's like account for 1 terraforming, that already over half your legacy, over half your non-legacy stuff is covered there, and I still think that 7 cards basically having to be from the main set, and then you have the generic stuff, and then you have the legacy stuff. It's still going to be like it's not that limiting, but this is the like most extreme example where you're slamming in everything else except for Plague Spreader and Polymerization. So I still think like 7 is a comfortable amount, and obviously like stuff needs to happen a little bit when we're going forward with the series. Like I don't know if we'll ever like make it just modern like deck building rules, because I think at that point it like the series spirit is lost in a way, and I think like that's something that I'd like to still keep intact. But I will also say that I'm pretty confident in saying that this is the final card that we're going to add to the generic pool that is in your main deck. I don't think like because I'm thinking like what could even come to the same like level, because like after that like we'll have the hand traps, like now we have Called by, and I'm trying to think like what else we have, like back row removal. I guess that's one thing which is like I could see MSD changing
replaced,
into like Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone.
or Cosmic Cyclone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Cosmic
like,
Cyclone also has a cost when you use it.
yeah.
It's a like negligible cost, but obviously it's something.
Yeah, it's like, because it's stronger, but you need to at least pay a little bit of life points. Twin Twisters pops 2, but you need to discard a card for it. So it's like, I think like that's one thing that might happen in the future, which is like, all right, you get 3 like generic of these like spell removal. I don't think we would ever do Harpy's Feather Duster there, because although like my personal agenda would love that in hating back row decks, I think like it's, yeah.
There could be an argument for allowing Lightning Storm towards the end of the series, because there are certain decks that just completely run away with the game if you don't open like.
Yeah, like going second stuff overall is something that like there could be an argument for that, but I do think that Lightning Storm would be the healthiest option there. There is a world where sometime in the future you have 3 generic slots for, you know, spell trap removal, and then it could be like, okay, Harpy's Feather Duster is limited to 1. I don't think like Lightning. If you asked me this question like 2 years ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, Lightning Storm also in that case I think should be limited to 1. But obviously, apart from your first turn, it just being a brick, I don't think the limitation needs to be there. But that's the only thing that I could see like being added to the generic pool, and even that case, it's not adding anymore, and it's like it would just change the generic pool. Basically, like we want to keep the spirit of the series intact, but also like ensure a healthy environment, which is why like from the start of like, all right, everything is allowed. At some point after Jeexx has played Fiber Jar or Cyber Jar for 3 episodes in a row, and all of those episodes revolve around those cards. Now suddenly it's like, all right, maybe this isn't too entertaining. Or in some cases, Astrograph shows up and breaks the expectation of me playing against Lightsworn, and that's where I get to edicted from the game with the power known as dictatorship that I have as the host of the series. So that's also kind of cool. So, you know, we do have the ban list where we can balance the game, or I get to go on power trips. And I think both of those things are important to have.
When I'm using my Hive Mind to battle against the Dictator, and the Dictator is confused why the Hive Mind is winning.
Yep, but I can't wait for you to play Black Garden for one more time, and then I'm gonna be like, yep, that shit's getting shot next.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so full transparency, Jeexx did say that he built all 4 decks earlier.
Yeah, I saw.
Why did you sound like that when I talked about Black Garden? Jeexx, friend to friend, does one of your other 2 decks that you built contain Black Garden? At least.
There might be a card called a Black Illusion Ritual in one of my decks. Just saying. I think this might be bye-bye for Black Garden. I haven't played... As I said, each of my deck got progressively more degenerate.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm hoping that your plane that you're taking to fly to another country crashes. But I am saying that if it happens, it might have been because an action you took. Bro, now it would look really bad. Now if that I saw multiple instances of, okay, now we're getting off topic, but that's fine because we have 2 actually pretty like swift ones, so we can have a short podcast segment of topical current topical things that obviously by the time this episode goes on are not gonna be topical anymore. But like I saw a concerning amount of posts when like the Ozzy Osbourne like death announcement was made to be like that were like, all right, now Hulk Hogan next, and then it happened, and then it's like and
Oh
Well,
no.
obviously, like both, obviously tragedies, and like I don't want to make light of anybody passing away, but like one thing that the it sucks that the one thing that stuck to my mind most from there was just seeing a post that was like, uh, if your surname and your first name start with the same letter, you should probably stay inside for the rest of the week. And that was just all that was stuck to my. I'm like, oh yeah. And
Oh yeah, sure.
I have a friend who we both have a friend that that applies to, and I immediately
Oh
said,
no.
I immediately told him like, yeah, dude, you might want to avoid going outside for the rest of the week,
Do
just
not
in
fly.
case. Do not, do not fly. Do not do anything that there might be any sort of risks. Actually, this is a really bad omen because literally as we're talking about this, like my sister is currently uh, like 10 kilometers in the air flying to another country, so hopefully you
Wow.
make it there and back safely, sis, and hopefully you
Yes,
have a
hopefully.
good trip. But yeah, I had another topical. Oh yeah, it was the fucking censorship stuff, but I don't think I have much else to say about that other than like
Stories made a video.
it's so fucking stupid, and it feels like we're regressing back in time because parents can't uh, take care of their kids
Oh no no no
doing
no.
dumb shit on the internet.
See, if the issue was actually, oh, the parent, like parental guidance is gone and the kids are just like browsing porn on the internet, that would be one thing. That would be like, okay, that's just a case of we need to have a slightly stricter like way of preventing children from getting in. That would be one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like for a lot of places, the censorship stuff isn't even about like actually trying to protect the children or something. It's about payment processors being upset about the fact that they're being associated, like not being upset about the fact that they're being associated with things that could damage their brand, but rather they're being pressured into dealing with things that could possibly damage their brand. They don't give a fuck. They give a fuck about the activist groups that are trying to push them towards like you guys are allowing this shit to happen. You're allowing people to pay for porn. You're just as bad as the people making the porn. Stuff like this. There's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of stuff related to this, which is like absolute bullshit. And it basically boils down to payment processors have far too much power over the things that we consume online, while also activist groups have far too much sway over things that arguably don't matter for anyone in particular outside of those activist groups trying to make some kind of absurd statement about things that don't matter to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe focus on things that actually like could matter and maybe change things that are possibly important. You know? Just
Yeah,
saying.
I did see that it's kind of interesting that 5 people in Australia can decide whether or not I can buy a box of chocolates for someone. Like, actually, we don't like the person you're buying this gift for, so actually you can't do that. And obviously that's an extreme example, but that's something that this could lead up to. Because it's always
Yokotaro
like,
actually,
yep.
in the Lexorius video, he brought up a Yoko Taro quote, which I think is the best possible way of simplifying this. Essentially, payment processors could use this to stifle free speech in other countries,
Yeah, I mean,
which is
100%.
crazy.
Like, that's ultimately, like, where all of this shit slips down to. Because, like, that's what censorship boils down to. Like, you're seeing stuff that they want you to see. And
Yeah.
that, like, that's the thing about, like, we're literally going back in time. And that the issue with all of this is, like, it's not like, okay, yeah, uh, banning porn, bad. It's like that's not where it ends, or banning porn, good.
Exactly.
That's not where it ends. It's like, all right, oh, we got away with this. All right, so next we can stop showing this stuff. That's maybe something political. Next week and maybe there was already like something that there were protests in a country. I don't want to say the country because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to spread misinformation. I'm not. I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not educated. I am educated. I do not keep up
We're
with
not
current
educated on this
topics,
topic.
so like I don't feel comfortable about like really speaking about this. But I did see this where it was like literally there was a the police was arresting people that were protesting, and that video was being suppressed. So now it's like, all right, so we're not showing maybe police taking extreme measures and doing stuff that maybe they shouldn't do in that situation, and now we're suddenly not showing that. And then it goes to like, all right, now the government is doing something bad. We're not, all right, now we're gonna suppress that and not show. Like it, the issue with censorship isn't that is banning this one thing good or bad. The issue is it's a slippery slope, and when you get away with banning one thing, then it's like, all right, well, can we get away with this? Can we get away with this?
I think even like, not just about the fact that it's porn or anything like that. Not in the slippery slope, but like, if you're banning anything that is considered legal under pretty much every single constitution that exists in the quote-unquote civilized world, you're encroaching on free speech.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're
Ultimately.
like, if this was literally anything else, it would have the same amount of people fighting back against it and the same amount of detractors being like, who cares? What does that matter? Like, you can make that same argument about the thing that I said about collective shout. Like, I think I think the idea of you should probably be doing something more important than fighting against this. I don't think that's an actually good argument against this, because like for me, but more so just like the idea that any kind of group can have this much control over things that it doesn't impact them directly. That could be anything. Like, this could have been, as we said, like literally any kind of political thing. This could have been a video on the internet. This could have been a topic that they want suppressed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fucked.
And
the world
like,
is a fuck.
At the end of the day, it's like you taking away something that people have is not gonna end well, and it's not gonna stop that shit from happening. Like,
Hey, remember Prohibition?
go back 40. It's 40 years. I think it was 84. But like, we banned alcohol. Did people stop drinking? Hell no. Now they were drinking poison, and as a result, like, a lot worse things were happening. Like, do I think like alcohol is a cause for a lot of issues? Yes. Do I think banning it is gonna fix that shit? Hell no. Like, that's ultimately the thing, is like anything problematic that people have had access for such a long time, you taking away that shit and you suppressing people, like, I don't want to say expression, but in a way it's expression, but like you put it well, like,
It is
basically,
expression.
yeah, like you put it well, where it's like anything where you're impeding on free speech, like that is very problematic. So,
Like Sorius brings up the fact that there's a lot of there have been a lot of movements that have done this kind of thing before, where they like not specifically trying to censor like Twitter or something, but trying to go after like trafficking rings and whatnot. Like, obviously, I have to stress again, I am not educated in any kind of matter for this.
we
this
play
topic.
Yu-Gi-Oh and
Yeah.
Pokemon, and we're doing banter about that shit, and then occasionally we go on rants about Magic the Gathering. You should not listen to anything we say about anything legislation related or anything like that. It's two dumbasses giving their opinions on a topic. That's it.
I just want to stress this, but like there have been movements before, back in like the mid 2000s and mid 2010s, that have aimed to stifle out sex trafficking and child abuse in places like Pornhub and other platforms that might be facilitating that, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that like the places that they were actually targeting, like Stories brought up some data in relation to this. I'm referring to like Stories video about a lot here. I highly recommend you guys go
I'll
watch
link
it.
the video below. Y'all can check it out. It's gonna be either in a pinned comment or the description, or on the screen if I figure out how to do
If you remember.
Yeah, I'll try to remember, but yeah, I'll have it somewhere for sure.
Yeah. He points out that on Facebook, there's like a literal 1,000 times more instances of sex trafficking and child exploitative content on like Facebook versus Pornhub and OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
That's
is,
like-
if something highly illegal is happening, the place you're not like trying to suppress it and find it like, oh, we can find this, so let's suppress it here. That's not where the problem is. If something like problematic is like super available and you can find it and see it there, like
Yeah, it's
ultimately
Ay.
like. I really like how you said it, and how you said that Lexer said it, like the Yugotar quote, where it's ultimately like impeding on free speech is not gonna end well for anyone, and it's not something that should be done. And well, we don't want to turn this into just a political episode, because we're here to play children's card games and have fun with it. So, but there is like I think literally like today when I woke up, like I saw that apparently the US is trying to also pass a bill like very similar to what was the UK stuff, and like the like all of this is being put under like the like children's protection, and it just feels scummy, man. It's like putting this like, oh, so if you're against this bill, you want to see the kids get hurt. It's like, no, I'm for free speech. That's what I'm
won't
here for.
you think of the children?
What will, like, if we do this, then the kids can have a better time, and then suddenly like we dig up the 20 years old discussion about, all right, now next, since we are now trying to protect the kids, next, I mean, this one school shooter played Grand Theft Auto, so video games clearly make people violent, so now let's remove all the violence from video games. But yeah, I don't want to dig this hole any deeper. We're not going to talk about political topics probably in the future, but just like having multiple things emerge like right around the same time as, and the episodes being shorter, and it was just on my mind, figured we would bring that up. But yeah, for Mekk-Knights, we'll see if because I do want to try to showcase what they can actually do when they can get going. So maybe we'll see Mekk-Knights in the anniversary episode. Because like I said, like they're just thematically and aesthetically a really cool archetype. And it's a like relatively simple archetype that like consistently does stuff once you get going. So
just as a heads up, we might be seeing Mekk-Knights sooner than you think.
Okay, are we just talking about the fucking Xyz that...
Oh no! I'm saying you might be seeing Mekk-Knight sooner than you think.
There was an S there. I like it. But yeah, Duel typed me out due to inactivity, so I think that's gonna be our cue. Sure. But like I said, to TLDR, everything here at the end. If you made it this far, comment potato salad 69. So I know you're here. If you made it this far, like I'll just give you a recap of the important parts. So going forward, Called by the Grave is going to be a generic card, but it is limited to 1 copy in your deck. And for the next couple episodes, like this and the episode before this, like basically for the month of August, the schedule is going to be a little all over the place, possibly, but it all depends on like how we can find time to maybe record some extra episodes still before Jeexx leaves to go on his trip. But there's like nothing is for certain yet, so if you're seeing slightly less episodes, then that's the reason. And if that happens, I mean regardless, I'll probably make a YouTube post about stuff, because it feels like that actually sometimes reaches the people watching. But regardless, I'll probably make a post about it once I know more, and I might even talk about it either at the start of this. I mean, if I talk about it at some point, probably at the start of this episode, but I don't think it would make sense. So probably I'll just be limited to YouTube posts. So look out for that to know like what's our schedule looking like. But that's gonna be for August, and then after that, like we'll see what happens. But for now, that's all the information that I can give y'all. Anything you want to say, Jeexx, before we get out of here?
The next set is Legendary Duelists Ancient Millennium.
Good call.
And that's mayhaps we should probably do that before I leave.
I'm down to do that. Well, I definitely know what I'm playing there, and
yeah, me too.
Are you trying to give me a month to think about whether I should ban Black Garden or not?
Perhaps I'm thinking you a month to think about if you should ban Black Garden or not.
If I summon... Okay, final thing, then we'll get out of here. If at anything else that happens out of the occasion, if I summon at some point in that episode, if I'm summoning Chaos Ancient Gear Golem that has 2250 attack points when it gets summoned, Black Garden is getting taken out back and will be staying there with 3 bullet holes in its head.
That's fair. That's fair. There might also be a possibility that the Ancient Gear Golem, once it hits the board, it won't be on your side of the field anymore.
And this is why I do not feel bad about getting critical hits or you missing stuff on the Pokemon series. Actual Antichrist. All I'll say is you better stack up some karma before you get on that plane. Because I hope to God
okay.
nothing bad happens.
Okay. It's okay. We're playing Mekk-Knights in Flames of Destruction, guys.
Yippee!
Yippee!
Unfortunately, if we don't record that before Jeexx leaves, there might be a timeline where we never get to that. And instead, I will grab a chalk and on your grave. Okay, this is getting too grim.
Even if we do play it, just saying, even if we do get to that, I don't know if that's gonna be what you want.
I mean,
because there's a card in that set. Well, there's 3 cards in that set that have a lot of red on them, and one of them happens to just be a.
I mean, let's just say with you, there will never be. You're never going to play a deck where I'm gonna go like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because that's not. I
literally played. Come on. The Machine Angel deck, remember, with the field spell that recycled the the ritual spell to summon Fool back, and Fool was indestructible in battle, so you always had to deal with it by using actual spells or traps or effects, which meant that I had a really strong defensive wall every time. You know that thing.
I do not remember that.
Edited, and you edited it into being that's kind of cool actually.
Kinda cool actually. Once in 122 episodes, we did it.
I'm gonna drop Zombie World on you in game 2, by the way.
That's awesome, man. But yeah,
playing monsters, favorite card types.
But yeah, so I guess that means that we're most likely you're getting at least Ancient Millennium time. But I'll figure out because obviously, like, by the time the previous episodes, the structure deck episode goes up, I'll know the schedule for most of August, so I can then also while that goes up, I can make the post. And then we'll figure it out from there. But for now, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to us yap about stuff we're very much not qualified to yap. Once again, like final disclaimer, we are not qualified to talk about any of this stuff, and we do not know enough to actually have a educated opinion. So take everything that we say with a very large grain of salt, just to come at. Yep.
I want to also stress, even like I was quoting the Lextorius video, Lextorius is also not a legal professional in any shape or form. He is simply a YouTuber man who reads a lot of documents and puts them in a video and speaks them out in a very convincing manner. Please take everything that was said in his video and that I said quoting his video with a massive grain of salt, and be very, very source critical, guys.
Anybody that expresses their opinion on anything on the internet is always carrying some sort of an agenda, whether that's a conscious or a subconscious one. So you should always just study up on it and read up on it and make your own, draw your own conclusions afterwards and deal with them as you see fit at that point. So yeah. Going forward, probably no political topics, but we will most definitely at some point in the future talk about how dog shit the card game known as Magic the Gathering is. So, look forward to
this
that.
Is what happens when you ban Magic.
Yeah, actually, ban ranting about Magic the Gathering, and we're talking about political topics.
I could have been yapping about Void Stranger, but my iPad Wolf video just came out. I can't be talking about Void Stranger.
MTG ramblings are what's keeping our Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series from devolving into the Joe Rogan podcast. That's the main takeaway from here. But yeah, y'all, stay safe, y'all. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium. So, have a good one, and peace.